Hello and welcome everyone to the YuGiOh Manga Boy and his many books that he read this week, and he cannot wait to talk to you about them, especially this one right here. I'm not picking any favorites, but if I was to pick some favorites, which I'm not, okay, that's how it's gonna be. Anyways, let's talk about Wan Dance. Actually, it's gotten a little bit more interesting than where I thought it was gonna get to. We see how our main character is this big old superstar in basketball. But not only is he this big old superstar in basketball that he does not really like that much, he kind of is able to apply basketball to, I like this little, I think that's neat, to his music and dancing. He is also introduced to something called dance battles from pretty much the only other male character that seems to matter at this time, and so that is pretty cool to see a dance battle happen through. This series would kill as an anime because it's got all these manga, all this music and things like that, to kind of go with. And so I don't know these songs super good because I listen to weeb music, anime OPs and EDs only, BB. Anyways, he joins a contest and he actually ends up doing really well in it. And so, well, what can you say? You know, when you do good and you just started dancing, you're feeling good. And we got this fun little dance. We see all of his feetsies. And I really like how they added this kind of a flair lately with the eyes, how the eyes kind of light up so you can kind of follow everything with the swooshing effect. It was really cool to see them do their dance too. You can see how happy they are. Very happy with the dance. Also, this guy, he's a judge, and he did not judge main character man for his stuttering, so that was nice. But yeah, you see how the eyes have these little light effects. I thought that was a really cool touch. It helps kind of give you a flow or a sense of flow of where the dancing's kind of going. So yeah, Wanda and our main character are able to do really well in their dance competition, but it's not good enough. We also see Iori kind of go do a dance battle against the club president, I think she is, and he is doing it to kind of go out with her. Wow. This is disorienting to me, and it made me feel weird when I saw that scene. Anyways, you can see him kind of using basketball as a way to kind of keep track of the beat and rhythm. I thought that was a really cool kind of add-on there. It's actually getting to be more and more exciting. The characters are getting to be more and more developed. We're seeing a lot more of a conflict and a plot to develop as things go forward. We can see the art really improve and scenes to make it more dramatic, which is, I think, a smart idea. I really am overall a huge fan of this presentation, and now that the characters are starting to become a little bit more enjoyable as well, I'm starting to just really enjoy this series actually a lot. Kind of reminds me of a less refined Blue Period. So if you are a fan of Blue Period, I would definitely recommend checking this out. That being said, I do think Blue Period's story is a little bit better and the characters a little bit more engaging, at least at this point. But I'm also comparing 11 volumes of Blue Period to 3 volumes of Wan Dance. So a little unfair for me to do that. Goblin Slayer. We are gonna be promoted, but you know how Goblin Slayer is. He's a freaking idiot. So he, going out slaying goblins. He earns enough goblin slaying points to get promoted. But the problem is, this girl here isn't quite certain he has earned the right to be promoted. There is a ton of text in these 2 volumes. Holy shit. I think it took me all week almost just to read these 2 essays alone. Okay? That being said, we run into the party where he got, kicked out of because he was disemboweling a goblin for an autopsy to understand the goblins better. And they, must have understood it as this guy's a sick freak. And the girl that's his sister / not sister, they're the 2 survivors of the village, is like, still trying to figure out ways to get to be in love with him. Yeah, you know how it is. Love these days with young kids. What can you do? And also we have the original party, you know, kind of going forward in a new quest, which is an interesting quest as we're going to see in the next volume. So those are our two main plots. You know, our two main plots are promotion and those guys and their quest. So those guys and their quest end up in a really peculiar spot, which of course now I'm not going to see it. They are able to go through this dungeon. They're trying to figure out what's causing these earthquakes around. And once they go through to figure out what's causing the earthquakes, they end up falling forever, it feels like to them. They pass through this web and they land and they can't see anything except for this strange city here. I'm thinking it might be a goblin city, but I don't know. So this is really cool. I think that this is an excellent little bit of mystique to it. I really am excited to find out the resolution there. We also see Goblin Slayer and this girl who is the guild tester to see if he's worthy of promotion, take down this goblin quest, and she's assessing his ability to work as a team with her, his ability to be kind and courteous to the villagers, assess situations and make a good plan, against the monsters as the plans tend to change as different variables pop up. She's like, oh, you finished the quest, you killed 4 goblins, the end. And he's like, goblins are there. And so he goes after the more goblins. And so I think that was the right move, but it was pretty funny. And she's also like interesting. She's either like a mage or not a mage. Again, there's a lot of text here. It looks like this is grass. No, this is all words. This is all words. I bought this because I can't read light novels, but instead I'm here reading a goddamn heavy novel with a lot of pictures. So that's kind of funny. She's training in the morning. Ooh, she's like, she got that ass. Very good, but yeah, she's a badass. So you do not fuck with her. Okay, you just simply cannot. She destroys people with her chain, and then the chain just disappears. This goblin's fucking eye flew out of his head, okay? And he's vomiting blood out of his ears and his mouth. It is fucking disgusting, okay? She is a goddamn beast. Do not mess with her. I love it. She's the best character so far. I cannot believe she works at the guild and not as an adventurer. I feel like that's crazy to me, but whatever. We are now caught up to MultiMind Mayhem Isekai Tensei Sodoki. She's cool. She's a pirate. They call her Black Tempest, which is neat, or Negro Tempest, something like that. So it was really cool to see her. We land at San Juan or San Jose, I can't remember which one it was, something like that. And we find out that there is a sibling, kind of a fight going on between who should be king. And the main older one is like, yeah, I don't really want to be king. And the other one is like, yeah, I don't really care either. And so he's like, listen, you can't just say you're not going to be king because you're going to cause people to be hurt because of you and bad things are going to happen. So you need to at least want to be king and just make things safe for you and your allies. And so he's like, okay, fine, that makes sense. So eventually he says okay to that. He also ends up marrying one of the characters from the original world. He is actually very feminine. In fact, he actually, I believe, identifies as a girl. They don't flat out say it in this manga, but he is the bride, or you can call him a she, I suppose. The prince is the bride, and the wife is the husband. The wife is from his, mainland, Bard's mainland, where he came from. So it's really weird that Teresa actually has to go back, and Franco, who is the person who likes to be more feminine. Teresa thought that, maybe she liked girls, but she was also somewhat interested in Bard, so she wasn't quite sure, conflicted, So this manga does get quite a bit deeper than I would think, into people's characterization. Also, we get to see the pirates fight, which was really interesting. I tell you what I did not like, though. I did not like very much so, and that was Kylus's and Uraka de Palma. They should be banging each other. No. Black Tempest is actually trying to be banging Bard, and I was so pissed. You can see right here, she's in her sexy, seductive, I'm going to get you, Bard, you 12-year-old boy, outfit. And Bard's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm 12 years old and I've got 2 other wives at home. And I'm like, A, she's smoking fucking hot. Okay, you stupid 12-year-old. B, you're not. You don't make any sense as to why you even married them, in my opinion. Because, I mean, I know that you've known them a while, but still, you're 12. So that's odd to me. And also, we have really cool sword fights. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I feel like she was a better, match for this pirate guy, but she really likes older men. And it's kind of weird because you're like, but Bard's 12. Man, Manga Boy, you just said that. Why would she be after Man, Manga Boy if she's 12 and she likes old man? Well, the reason is because the old man is like Bard this whole book, which is good because that's why it has him on this cover like that. Anyways, so she sees the old man kind of like in an after image behind him and falls in love with him that way as he's saving her. Also, Bard helps figure out how to get through this lightning storm that he is able to traverse through no problem by using something called a lightning rod, which if you didn't know, which maybe you don't, because I don't think this is super common knowledge, but I've come across it in the past. You can use a lightning rod, which is a metal rod sticking out of the ship to disperse lightning through the ocean. So that way you can get through storms without being struck by lightning, especially in the olden days where you didn't have big metal ships or anything like that. But that being said, why does this high school boy know this information? Again, I don't know. It seems odd to me that he just knows that. Again, he is a walking Deus Ex Machina for things that you would need to think about. And the other Oka is a goddamn killing machine. So anybody that is OP too strong, he gets rid of. I really don't understand that. I really get, cheat skills in isekai. They make sense to me. But I want a challenge for Bard. It was really cool to see Bard get cholera in the last few volumes. I really thought these volumes were much better than the other ones. I really like this arc in San Jose, and it's over with now, or San Juan. I can't remember which. But I'm pretty sure it's San Juan. Yeah, it's San Juan. But again, nothing is a challenge for Juan. So that's kind of annoying. Or for Juan, for Bard. But yeah, that's annoying. But whatever, I guess. I'm just happy it's gotten better. Maybe it'll get even better from there. JJK. Speaking of things getting better, I love JJK, and it's starting to turn into Hunter x Hunter. I wonder if these consultants work also as well with Hunter x Hunter that Gege Todo Akutame was actually supposed to bring in, because the Jujutsu power scale system is starting, and curse techniques is starting to turn into like Nen, I feel like. So we've got all these kind of convoluted rules about constellations for this girl. Anyways, the tournament has started where we are supposed to be killing people. And if you don't kill people, you get killed. And we're trying to, get more recruits in order to have a better chance of winning. So they go to this guy. This whole thing is getting him on their team, as well as I think the girl ends up coming in too. You can see Megumi has this super sick Shikamaru wishes he was this Slick with Shadows move here, where he can just like assassinate people. So this was like the coolest shit ever. And we also see Panda fighting Itadori, but like it's staged. And then Itadori also is a punching bag for this guy for a lot of this, just so he can kind of, get him excited to see that he's actually dedicated to the cause of trying to help stop this big onslaught that's going on. We find out that sorcerers are coming in from all over the time, all over the world, all over the time period. I don't really know how else to say that. We've got this really cool visual effect here where you can see him taking his hand from like this weird dream, right? And he's like, look, here we are walking through, and it's like, get fucked. Demons everywhere. Holy shit. And so I thought that was really cool. That was a cool visual effect of turning the page. So we start this whole thing off. Everyone's kind of separated. And so we are, of course, going to have to eventually regroup. Itadori gets to kind of show off a little bit, as does Megumi. Megumi finds this one girl who he's supposed to be his knight, or her knight, and he's like, listen, I'm not Itadori, okay? I don't mind killing people to get to 100 points. Their whole point is to get to 100 points, so that way they can actually trade points or somehow be able to retire from the game without causing any issue. But they have to kind of think about ways that they could do this without technically, breaking an earlier rule. So it's an interesting little mind game. This is where it starts to remind me a lot of Hunter x Hunter. This series really has evolved quite a lot from the beginning. So from the Shibuya incident on, it almost feels like it's just a completely different series with the same main characters, really. So I think that's cool. If you guys have something that's missing, from Hunter x Hunter since it's on hiatus again, I would definitely check out JJK if you haven't yet for some reason. You're like the one person in a bajillion million that isn't reading JJK. Blue Period 9, 10, 11. I am now caught up on Blue Period. Thank goodness, because they released so much Blue Period at once. I was getting kind of sick of it because there was just so much of it. But I did really like the series again. I don't think it's really one that you should binge. We see a few characters from Yaguchi's past, his friends. They call him the scat group. We also get his cross-dressing friend. We learn more about artists. But the main thing here is actually our plaid-shirted friend here. He is having issues with art. The professor, I can't remember her name. It's like Nico something. She's Cat something. Is a bitch. She, right here. This line right here. What are you doing here isn't what we're expecting from you. You're only here because you're and then like blank. There's this rumor going around that in TUA they accept one student. Okay, one student who is only accepted not because of their art, but because of their high grades. And so it's like the GRE essentially. And so that's what she is highly insinuating happened to this guy. So these volumes mainly focus on him, kind of getting a grasp of who he is, and we kind of learn about him. I had a blast with it. Yaguchi kind of got his own footing halfway through the semester and was able to not really worry about anything after a while. So to have a different character we're focusing on now is a huge cool thing. This isn't, unique to this one character, though. This has happened in the past, but this character has always been kind of lauded as a prodigy. So to see that, his life isn't perfect is really exciting, especially since he's like, listen, everybody just says I'm so good at life. Okay, I'm not good at life. I'm only good at art. And like you can see his mom also, echoes this. And so he's actually just saying what his mom has been saying likely all along. And so he doesn't think he's good at anything but art as well. That being said, he's a person. He's good at a lot of other things. He has a lot of other interests. He likes Pokemon, okay? I can't believe there are a lot that say Pokemon either. That's kind of interesting to me. But they are, and they play Pokemon. But it's like not on the Nintendo Switch. It's like on a copyright safe Nintendo Switch, but they're still able to say it's Pokemon. So it's like, that's weird. We also get a little bit of an after part from the first year. So first year is done after Volume 10. Volume 11 starts this kind of like summer break, essentially. And we get our braided friend to come in, and our braided friend, who's also been kind of shown off to be really good and really cool, great at art, without flaw, has flaw, okay? And they are working with younger students who are trying to get better at art, pretty much as an after-school class, but it's just like some people say, to watch their kid while they're at work. Yaguchi's really focusing on this kid, and Braid Boy is really focusing on this girl. This girl is really frustrated because she is like taking 30 million different classes after school. And this kid is really mad because like he kind of feels neglected, it seems. And really only likes mechs. And his mom's like, what's good about this guy's art? And then he's like, that's your fucking kid, you goddamn bitch. And then and yeah, so that's pretty crazy. And Brady makes a nice portrait with this girl, and then the girl's dad comes to pick him up. He's like, oh, you made a art with this teacher? Here, let's rip it in half, and you'll take half and he'll take half. And then he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I worked so hard to make this girl stop crying and freaking out because she's taking 300 billion classes and she's overwhelmed. And then you rip the art. And Yaguchi's like, I got tape. Let's just tape it up. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And so, yeah, this was like a really interesting read. Again, more characterization to show what other characters are talking about. They don't, I mean, yes, this first half does kind of focus on Yaguchi a bit, but really the main focus is on the Braid character here, as well as, the children. And seeing how, people exposed to art with parents who may or may not be approving of it can kind of influence your art style and other such things. Fire Force? Holy fucking shit. Are you reading Fire Force? What? You're not? Go get it, read it, and talk to me about it. It is so good. Because Arthur beat Dragon Quest. Well, he doesn't beat Dragon Quest because you know what? He gets the last boss. He's like, I gotta do the rest on my own. And I'm like, okay, Arthur. We talk about how the guy who made Excalibur, Yuna, and Vulcan. Yuna used to have a stuffed doll. The stuffed doll is Excalibur from Soul Eater. And I'm like, what? His doll is Excalibur, and he made Excalibur, and he used to love his doll. There it is. Like, that's Excalibur, okay? From Soul Eater. I was like, what? Because I think I really like Excalibur. And he was like one of the older weapons, so I think this is how this is going to help us explain how weapons ended up being a thing. Also, Arthur is like ultra uber strong now, and since the world is kind of falling apart, like for example, Rekka is back with a big hole in his chest, and like imagination is really big, and Arthur is the king of imagination as the Night King, and Dragon is also pretty strong. He's been living for years, since the previous few apocalypses or cataclysms, and was in Iraq apparently, which was really interesting as well. He comes back from space to get Arthur, and then they take a battle into the ocean, and then they split the ocean in half. They're battling on the half of the ocean, and then they go to the moon. Okay, then they go to the, like, that wasn't fucking crazy enough. Then they go to the fucking moon. Okay, and Arthur's like, oh shit, I can't breathe on the moon, can I? But then we get like these video game effects. Arthur equipped the star ring. What are you talking about? Now Arthur can breathe in space. What? He gave, like, Vulcan gave Arthur a ring made out of like orichalcum or just like scrap metal. I can't remember which, because he just calls stuff, whatever, to make Arthur feel better. And like he's slowly starting to believe things about, well, he's not believing it. He's seeing it. He's seeing Arthur just turn into total beast. For example, Yuna was taken over by Giovanni, and Arthur fixes that in about 30 seconds because they go over to see Yuna, which Vulcan's super upset about because he's thinking Yuna's gone. So he goes over to see Yuna, and what does he do? He's like, lift up the sword to the sky, and it will tell you where Yu is. I keep saying Yuna, but it's Yu. And so it does it, and he's like, what the fuck? I didn't build this sword to do that. Why can it do it? So they go there, and Arthur's like, he's like, Giovanni, give me back Yu, or Vulcan's like that. And what does Arthur do? He just points the sword at Yu, and Giovanni's dead. The end, Yu's fine. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's nuts. So this was a huge Arthur-focused volume with a little bit of Vulcan sprinkled in, and Rekka. Really liked it. Wow, it was so good. I love Arthur-centric volumes, and I cannot wait for our main character to come back in. I feel like I haven't seen him and his brother in forever because like they just disappeared. They were the villain, and whew, I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. How heavy are the dumbbells you lift? Where has this series been? I haven't read this in like a year, I think. This is by the same author who does Kengan Ashura, if you weren't aware. Yabaka Sandruk, and art is by Mam. I don't think they do Kengan Ashura. If you didn't know, this is a kind of wacky, fun edutainment series. I had a blast reading it, as always. You can see she gains a lot of weight, but she gains it in the shape of a square because she eats a lot of tofu. We also get a fun bit of, they were in an eating contest to eat soft-boiled tofu. We get a movie reenactment here. We see Jason Statham shows up, and then also the Arnold Schwarzenegger knockoff shows up as well. We have a little talent show. Oh my god, I forgot. We have also a card game as well. So the card game is YuGiOh, and but it's with muscle builders. Okay, obviously. And they're built based off of real muscle builders. So of course she goes crazy at Kemi. She buys every fucking box set and booster pack she can because she is of course in love with muscles. That being said, now everybody has YuGiOh faces. Okay, and so there's like this little fucking thing to it too. And she's making a pictorial deck. I was like dying laughing. And when she summons them, it's just like YuGiOh, like their little cape from their jacket kind of flies up, and then they get a little like summon there, take people out. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm not saying they're sending people to Shadow Realm, but you can see they've got she's got Yugi eyes, she's got Kaiba eyes. I love it so much. Like, look at this. Dorian attack power 2,500. Veteran builder Kishi attack power 1,000. She's getting blown away by Dorian. Like, what the fuck? I love it. Oh my god. And then Hibiki's like, I'm gonna become a duelist too. I love it. And then there's a talent show as well. A big book of pecs is involved here to learn about how to make bigger pec muscles. So yeah, definitely check out this series if you are at all a fan. Okay, an out-of-body experience. You can see the ghost of him just passing away. If you're a fan of good comedy, edutainment, and working out, or even just one of those things, I definitely recommend at least checking this out. I really think this is a blast of a series that often gets overlooked, and this is the Arnold Schwarzenegger knockoff. He reminds me more like a JoJo character, actually, especially with the Dagon. I think actually that is the point. I thought it was going for a Terminator kind of a riff, but maybe it's more of a JoJo riff. His name is Arnold Doggin Girl Chodner. I can't even say it. It's like so ridiculous. But yeah, I definitely strongly recommend checking it out. If you are all interested in it, if you ever see this on sale or it's a C sale, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. I feel like it's underrated for sure. I don't think the anime is going to continue. It is a little risque, a little adult, a little fan service, but it's well worth it. I mean, there's fan service both ways, right? I mean, the dudes are outrageously ripped and the girls are outrageously sexy, but it's just like when they show you how to work this out with stuff, I guess. So it's not like constantly for the girls. It's more outrageous fan service, of men. Actually, I'm thinking about it. Huh. That's kind of weird. Anyways, what did you guys think about this week in my picks that I read? Let me know down below. Did you read anything fun this week? I feel like, we haven't talked in a long time. How have you been? Are you doing good? You still got your job? You're doing good with your job? Great, because you got bills to pay for that, right? Stuff. So, me too. It's not great. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. We'll see you next week for another one. Bye-bye.